Hello, welcome back. I am Lady Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Dark Side. How are you all in this wonderful community? I'm going to get the disclaimer out of the way because we are doing reviews from the Dark Side, and can I be trusted? Well, no, I cannot. It is me. I cannot. Lady Darcy Darkness cannot be. So we are full of so much adult content that some of you think this is necessary and some of you think this isn't needed. If you are one of those people, then thanks for checking us out. But I'll say this only once. If you can't stand the heat, then get the fuck out of my kitchen. Now for everyone else who likes what we have here, then regular scheduled programme will continue. Shall we get started and are we ready? What are we covering today? Well, as I said, it's reviews from the dark side, and I watched the Amy Adams movie NightBitch. The things no one wants to talk about that we really need to. And I kind of titled this as the horrific reality of what being a woman is and how it can unravel in ways you could never imagine. So this movie was a small budget and not much information was released about it. What was it supposed to be about? But it came under horror. I can understand why in some parts that it did. But it's more horrifying take on reality on how life changes and how as parents our lives aren't what they were and never will be the same again, which is again not a good thing for some. Or some for me, being a parent is something I didn't think I'd ever be. I was told I couldn't have children because of my lupus, which is actually MCTD I have, which is multiple autoimmune conditions. They said that I would struggle to get pregnant and struggle to actually carry my child to term, kind of thing. So, which I didn't. I was lucky. So for me, it was a game changer. I love being a mum and I love being a parent. So it's a take on an inside scoop on how our lives dramatically change and how the person we once were is gone and that the person we are now is what we are and what we'll always be. But why? Why the change? Why can't we go back? Why is no one talking about the people we become when we evolve and show the universe what our bodies are capable of? Mother is God in the mouth of babes. Why? Because we are. We fucking are. Right, so this movie starts showing Amy Adams playing the character mother. Both Amy and Scoot, who play the characters of the parents and husband and wife, are only shown and is referred to as mother and father, and their child is called baby. So that's how they did that. Amy, in this role, she said she wanted to be authentic, so she let herself become the character. And what I mean by that is she kind of didn't give up on her aesthetic and things like that, but she wanted to be her authentic self because when you have a baby, sometimes you don't have the time to do all your aesthetics like your skincare, hair care, your beauty routine. You don't always take care of you as number one because you're no longer number one. So that's what she was trying to do. So she let everything go. The character mother seems to be all left alone, as you do sometimes when your husband goes off to work or works away, and he's the father of her child. He leaves for work as this is normal, but it seems that she's left all week to deal with wife and mother duties while he's away in the world. And if you are a parent, whether you're a stay-at-home dad or a stay-at-home mum, you know what it's like that you literally know everything child and everything house, but when that other parent or partner goes away to work, for example, they get to be around other adults. They get to socialize. They like to do adult things. The things that you again don't get to do anymore, but as much, if not at all. So that's an adjustment for some, and some can't even do that. Mother is dealing with her identity as a woman, a wife, a mother, and just a human being being human being. Evolving, adjusting to a role as a mother. We either tackle it head on or it takes a while. Sometimes we don't allow it. And some people, you can tell the way you've got mums who are just born to have that job, mothers who are born to be that but may not be able to have that job, and then mothers who have it easy and don't love being a mum or don't accept the role as mother as you should. And again, each to their own. Okay? It shows you other ways to tackle the life of a mother and how there is no right or wrong way. It's whatever works until it doesn't. And then you either ask for help or, again, things happen. In the first at least 3 years of well, I'd say four, including your pregnancy, the 3 years of after having a baby, it takes a long time for your body, your hormones, and everything to actually regulate. And if you have multiple children in that time, like I've said before, it can fuck with you. And a lot of people end up with incredibly bad cases of postnatal depression that can actually trigger other underlying genetic conditions you may actually not realize you already have, but it just takes a trigger or trauma for that to happen. So we deal with a lot of things having children, from conception to pregnancy, delivery, birth of child and the life of the child, not only are you nurturer and mother, you are also everything to your child. And some things about you forget you once did or you once were, because you get mama brain and that never goes away. So we do have to adapt to a different part of our life, and not everyone gets either let it happen, or when it does happen, you can go into it with a plan. Sometimes things don't go to plan. Sometimes things just happen for a reason. But it's a lot. And even talking about it now, it's very overwhelming. And this is a movie portraying just a tiny little glimmer, a glimpse of life as a mother and into motherhood, and how difficult it must be when, yes, you are part of a couple, but husband goes to work and you're left at home with everything, not just a child, but a home and a life and everything you've got to do. And some people seem to think that that's an easy job. It's like, you fucking try doing it. You try fucking doing it for a week. Let's see how long you last. It's terrible for me to say that, but it's the truth. We go through a life of hopes and dreams, but what if we didn't decide to take the road and continue down the one we are on? What will we miss? What obstacles will we go through, and what things will be different? We can daydream about what was or give in and have a fresh start and make a life for not only you but your child and your family. At what cost? That's the thing. This is what this movie did. It felt that way. That Amy was portraying how a mother is a couple. Amy's actually portraying a mother who's actually, her child's a toddler, so I think he's about maybe 3, because from how his speech is and him running around and just the way she is, I'd say it's more toddler before preschool type age the child is, because it's like you're stuck between baby and child. So you see a lot of what you wish you would say compared to what you actually say, which is again something I have written about myself, about scenarios, about how, like, for example, she meets her old colleague that now has her job, and the person kind of speaks down to her like, oh, you're just a mom, you're just a mother, you just get to be home, isn't that the best? Like, talking down to you and talking to you like you're the child and you gave up everything, but she has your job and she wants you to fucking be, and she's gloating and acting like you've given up your life. We've all come across that bitch. We have. Or bastard. We really fucking have. Who says, oh my goodness, oh, you're a mum. Oh god, I want to punch them in the fucking face. Yeah, whatever. Shut the fuck up. Move on. But we've all had the scenario where we've said the nice thing to someone when we've had a bad day, but we're thinking how the scenario has went. If you actually had no filter and didn't give a fuck and you wanted to look like that, most of the time I'd probably walk away. Mother meets the woman, like I said, who had her job. She makes out that she's happy and she's just has met someone who is single and in the peak of her career and gloating of, you're just a mum and you've just made it easier. Just what a strangler, who knows? Fuck all what it's like. She doesn't knows what fuck all what it's like to be a mother, basically. She tells exactly what she's feeling and then she switches her, saying she loves her life, and in fact she's hating herself for not being honest about how she feels, making you question everything. And again, staying in your head rent free and saying this shit is never healthy. How many times have you wanted to smack a bitch for saying something inappropriate and making you feel small and insignificant? Every fucking day of my life, and I don't even leave my house. So I feel like that when I'm speaking to people online, because some of the way they actually speak to you. Lots of people are more themselves online, I'd say, than anything else, rather than in person these days. But hey. But this is a woman's journey from reflecting back onto her previous life before this one and realizing she's further away from who she was mentally and physically. It shows a lot of hallucination type behavior of different scenarios of the what if. Mother ends up trying to fit in the world, unsure and becoming a primal warrior, her tapping into past memories and trauma of her own mother and the difficulties her mother had and what she went through, and her understanding what her own mother endured and the sacrifices she made along the way for her family while her life stopped and her family started. And again, showing the connection, it seems that her mother may have taken her own life from what they show you. So she's processing how her mum got to the stage she was, because her mum gave up being a musician and having her life and having her dream because she got pregnant and she stayed at home, and it seems to have a child, and it seems that she's kind of like in a kind of closed community. It seems to be through faith, so therefore she would have not really had much from the outside world. It would all pretty much be how the community lived their life and not anything out with. So therefore her mum gave up everything, a fresh start to have a dream, but decided to stay at home and be a mum instead. So she is seeing a lot of things that she may have not seen before. growing up because she didn't understand him because she was the child and that was her mum. But now that she is the adult with a child, she's now realising the similar feelings or maybe the similar situations that her own mother had went through, which must hurt her to go past that trauma of her past because she's processing it now as a mother with a child, and she kind of feels lost and lonely and scared, and she doesn't really know how to navigate through that. Very overwhelming, all those emotions that she went through. That's why I found out for this film, yes, it technically isn't classified as horror, but has body horror aspects. It has psychological thriller, psychological horror in there because of how we perceive ourselves and how the outside world does. And we always see ourselves as worse off as what the world sees. Kind of like self-destruction, which again is horrific for us as a person living in a world that we don't understand and doesn't understand us. So that's the kind of horror aspect I got from this movie, but not like, gore horror, more just you got to think about that position that someone's been in, and then you can reflect and understand sometimes that you've actually felt that way or you know someone who's felt that way. But if you've personally felt that way, then it will hit you different and how you actually perceive it again. And being autistic, like myself, I seen it completely different. It completely amplified a bunch of feelings that I had that are incredibly normal, by the way. Not saying that what you're feeling isn't, but it was hard hitting for me because I had postnatal depression and I felt like that and I felt like the world was against me and I always have felt like the world was against me. Late for diagnosis and having to struggle with being autistic and having a child with autism, going through life where things people think look easy for me and they're actually incredibly hard for me and more difficult, and I'm actually struggling to process a lot of things and process my child's life as well and the things that he needs over what I need. And even though I need them and have to need them, if you know what I mean, kind of thing, I have to make sure my needs are met so I can do my job and be a successful parent. And that's what this movie is like. And that's the horror of it, that people aren't aware what people go through on a daily fucking basis because either they don't care or they just have never experienced it. And no matter how much money or how much experience you have, parents and mothers especially go through bad days, sometimes weeks, months, years. But a lot of the time we say nothing and we just get on with it. And again, not very good for us, not very good for our family, very, very toxic to live like that. But it's the society we live in because these things aren't normalised. And that's the horrific thing. Not normalisation of having a child and having mental health problems and struggling through life and navigating through parenthood and motherhood and losing a part of yourself, maybe your full self, and becoming a different person, like a complete rebirth, restart, reboot. It's a huge thing. And some people either allow it to happen or some people just do not. They just continue on. And that's when you end up with trouble down the line. But hey, I think it has definitely flagged up a lot of things that people don't necessarily think about until they're actually going through it or watching someone they care about go through. And it hurts for you and it hurts them too. Then you shield them, you become a warrior, and you don't want people to know how you're feeling because you don't want them to feel sad or upset. She goes back, like I said, to her upbringing, reflects on her own life and what she has and how she doesn't fit in and trying to find her place. Her son is all she sees. She only has interacting with her child and maybe briefly with parents at these kind of meetings and groups. And I didn't fit in with these mums at groups because I was different. And this is before I was diagnosed with autism with Asperger's. And I felt completely alien more than I ever have. And I've never felt like I fit in. So it was like I felt like I was alienating myself and alienating my son because I couldn't socialise or speak to people. It was incredibly difficult and there's no support there. She tries to interact with people, she struggles because she's left on her own and she seems to move from the bustling city life to a stay-at-home parent who's trying to juggle everything, and the husband thinking she should be able to handle things, not realising what a mother and a housewife does every day. Not only are they responsible for a tiny human who doesn't know their arse from their elbow, they are having to clean, cook, tidy, nurture, shopping, run errands, and have to clean up after a drunk, which is basically a toddler, by the way. They throw wobbly every time. They cannot tell you what they need, what they want, and what they should know. And then they just proper act like a drunk adult, but in a toddler. That's pretty much what I call a toddler, a drunk, because they don't know when they're hungry, but they will literally just grab whatever the fuck they want. They will do whatever they want. They will say whatever they want. They'll say mean things. They'll say horrible things. They'll act out. They'll lash out. And then at the same time, throwing a wobbly and you're supposed to fucking deal with it. And then it's just like, what the fuck caused this, man? What the fuck? It's so difficult sometimes to even be like, why are you doing this? Why are you saying this? What was the point in that? Has it made you feel any better? No, why? That's pretty much what it's like. When the husband has to deal with the kid for like a weekend, by the way, because in this she realizes that there's things in her life that need to change for her to actually be able to be the person she is now. So her and her husband end up separating briefly, and this happens. This actually happened to myself, that when my son was born, I wasn't being supported. I have a physical health condition that I still do, and I felt like I wasn't being heard. And every time I asked for help, I had a lot of things happening in my actual life that shouldn't have been happening to me at this time, but I had been dragged into it, that it made it difficult to enjoy being a mum when I first had my son. I regret a lot of things, saying no for one, which I always say, and also not taking stuff. I should have just saw the red and just went with my gut rather than wait around till it was so scary that I couldn't turn back, and I literally felt like I had no one. And sometimes I still feel that way. I do, and I do admit that, and it sounds very selfish when I say it, but people don't understand me because I don't understand me, so don't worry about it. So he couldn't even look after the kid for like one day, like an overnight, and he was supposed to have him for the weekend. And then he realizes that, oh shit, this is hard work, and he doesn't know his own child. He doesn't know what his child likes. He doesn't know his routine because he literally comes home from work, has a bit of food with them, and then he's winding down, and he expects his wife to deal with him and be there for his needs. What about her needs? Hello, come home from work. Be nice to your wife. Maybe say, oh, since you've been on your feet all day, sweetheart, we'll sit down, we'll have some time with our son. We can watch something together. We can literally do something. But it's like they put the child down and then for his sleep, and then she's on the couch watching TV, and he does like she's rubbing his feet and stuff, and then sometimes he will reciprocate and things like that. But it's trying to show that he obviously so out of touch with his family and what's happening in his home life, in his house, because he fucks off to work. Yes, he has to provide, but he doesn't have to provide. She could be out providing and he could stay at home. It could be a joint thing, but it was always left to she's became his mum, because she gave up everything to look after their child, and his life hasn't changed any. And this is what it's like, repetitive over and over. And when she tries to do something for herself, it just feels like it's being lost in translation. Like he'll call it like a hobby and things like that. And it's just like, she was a painter. She had shows in art galleries and stuff. He's treating her like she was not the breadwinner, and it looks like she may have been the breadwinner. And then she's had a baby, got married, and had a child. And some women, again, never go back to their job and never go back to that part of their career because, again, that's not them. Some people do go back. And it reflects on that because she has a friend who has a child who has a nanny and has a different life. Like looks like she's not even had a child. Put it that way, because the nanny does everything. The nanny deals with the child, and she gets to see the kid, spend some time with them, and then she fucks off to work, and then the nanny has the baby all day. And no offense, if you can afford a nanny, that's great. I said, but I would never give up that time with my child to a stranger or someone that I'm who is employed to look after my kid. Because there's these times in your life that you can't get this fucking time back and those memories back, and your child will always remember who was there. And that's what she's looking at, all these people, because she goes into the city and tries to go back to her normal life, and she feels like she's being ignored by everyone, that she doesn't exist because she has a parent, and because her body's changed, because her priorities have changed and her attitude has changed. She's literally sitting there eating kale salad, and they're all eating like meat, like big, like lamb, like dishes, and really extravagant, decadent food. And she's like, "Why the fuck am I fucking sitting here eating a fucking salad when this is supposed to be like a day out for me?" So she's drinking and things like that, and she's just taking everything in. She knows she's not part of this world now. She feels like she has to be there, but does she really fucking want to be there? That's the question. And you see this transformation and evolution of her thought process of, do I want to be this way? Do I want to go back to my old life? Do I want to make something else? Do I want to do something else? Do I want to socialise with other people? Do I want to socialise with my past? Do I want to have stuff to do with them? And it's all this stuff going on in her head that she's on full steam ahead, basically. She's on all guns blazing, and there's so much going on that she isn't even enjoying being away from her kid or having a night out. And I don't enjoy really leaving my son either. I struggle to leave him with anyone. So I do understand that kind of part of it as well. And it's like when she's starting this evolution of changing herself, not changing herself, adapting to her new role, that she has this evolution that she's turning into like a predator, like a predatory animal, like a wolf, for example, or a dog, or a wild dog, you know? So this is what NightBitch is about, where she feels that her body is changing. Yeah, your body changes, but it's more like a symbol of your body changing and evolution into your life and everything, and the horror of your life before, your life now, and what your life will be in the future. But they've done it in such a way that you're evolving like you're becoming a werewolf or a wolf or like a predatory animal. And she sees her body changing. Like her kid says, "You're fuzzy, mummy," and it's like her back's hairy or something like that. And it looks like it's doesn't look. She's seeing it as fur, but I think it's just like a wee bit of like obviously your body's supposed to be covered in fur to protect you. But she's noticing these changes, and she thinks that her teeth are changing. Are they changing? Are things changing? But she's becoming a wild animal. But a mother is a wild animal, a wild protector. We are there to protect our families. Yes, again, back in the days of hunter gatherer, it was like man hunt for food, but it's like women's protector of family basically, and men are protectors as well. Mothers, and fathers all will literally most likely take a bullet or give up their life for their child. And her transformation from her to warrior to predatory animal protector, they've done it in such a way that they're showing a physical transformation, even if it's only in her head. And that's like, again, living in your head type thing. So that's what made me think about the movie when it was being like that she thinks she's going through, and then she gets a book, and she thinks she gets the book from the librarian, where the other kid goes to like these singing classes. We've all been to them, they're so fucking annoying, but it's a good thing apparently for kids. Socialization and learning and shit. Oh shit. I could sing random shit to my child and you probably learn better than fucking going to these groups, but apparently it's good for socialization. I didn't fin at them at all, stuck out like a sore thumb, and so does she. And there's some other mums that do as well, and they all want to like socialize with her and be her friend, and she's just like, fuck, these are nothing to do with these people, are nothing to do with me. I haven't wanted anything to do with them. So I did feel similar to Amy's character like that. This annoys me when people do this, when they make you feel that you're never enough, but you are. This makes her realize that she can still have both her husband, her family, and her life. But she's no longer that woman before. But who says she has to be that woman? Who says that that woman was the best she was when she has her whole life in front of her? You know, another journey of bravery to show that you still are a person, you still count, and your voice still needs to be heard. The body horror in this movie is mild but effective because it's more when you've been through pregnancy and you feel like a foreign entity to yourself, and it can take years for the transformation mentally and physically show as a physical action, which I felt was a good way to describe the evolution of motherhood and how we feel so alone and that we feel that we don't exist or we don't feel that we're enough, and how many of us feel that way even without a family in our minds or in our. Or some people feel like that even with or without family, that they don't feel themselves in their strange entity in society. And then society expects us to toe the party line. But if we don't, then, they make us feel like we're not good enough and we need to change, when it's society it needs to fucking change. It's always fucking society it needs to change. So at the end of the movie, basically, she goes through all these things that she's had her husband and her broken up. She's went back to painting. She does an art exhibit, and people are like, "Oh, we've seen something similar before," rather than be like, "Oh, I love this. I love the fact that you've had all this time off and you've shown that you still want to paint." Or look at what you've done. Look what you've fucking accomplished. This looks fucking amazing. Look, I love how you've basically shown what it's like to be a mother, and different versions of mother is what she did. Different versions of mother, like a working mum or a stay-at-home mum or a mum that's basically she's just wild and she's got like a wild nature and things like that. She's taking the people that she's actually come to contact with and what it's like for us on a day-to-day basis, the things that you see, the things that we see, the things that we see as people outside looking in kind of thing. She does this as her art exhibit, and it's very, very fucking powerful. And the mothers that she paints, the mothers from the groups and the ones that are around her children, they understand it better because they are going through this and they understand what it's like to be a parent. The people that she knew from her other life have come through and like, yeah, I've seen this before. Yeah, it's good. We like it. Rather than say, fucking awesome job, well done, I fucking love what you've done there. No, it's always a wee bit of a negative to fucking bring you fucking down because you've done something that they're fucking too scared to do. And she just takes what they say like with a grain of salt. You see her looking at her work. You see her taking in that this is fucking me. I still have it. I fucking got it. Things start to fall into place because she feels that she's now brought a part of her past, her, to her life now. And things have to change for her, yes. But she wants them. She knows what she wants. She knows she loves her husband and she wants her husband back. And they try again, and the movie ends where they're back together and their life is different and they've adapted and they're more, they talk more, they take time for themselves, things that are kind of self-explanatory for you anyway, but sometimes you need to be nudged to, go in the right direction. You can go on down many paths in life. You can go in the wrong direction for most of your fucking life for crying out loud and then realise at 50 that you've made the big fucking mistake, or realise at 40 that you could have done this but you chose not to, or you're being stubborn and you haven't done it, So whatever path you take in any part of your life at any age, always know that where you're supposed to be, you will get there. Just sometimes it takes longer for others. Myself, I'm stubborn as fuck, so it's probably a light bulb will go off at some random point and I'll be there, or I've always been there and I've just not noticed, because that happens too. But that's how they kind of reflect the film, and then they end up, for their evolution, they have another child, and it's again labour, a home birth. I don't ever want to see other people having children. I've been through childbirth. I don't want to relive it. Thank you very much, through other people's eyes, even in movies. Thank you. But we are going to now go on to IMDb and do what we do. NightBitch came out in 2024, but I didn't watch it till recently. It's a rated R. It's an hour and 39 minutes long. It's under body horror, dark comedy and horror. A woman pauses her career to be a stay-at-home mom, but soon her life takes a surreal turn. And again, still think there's a lot of postnatal depression and mental health aspects in there for life change, motherhood, parenthood, etc. Director is Marielle Heller, and the writers were Marielle Heller and also Rachel Yoder. It has Amy Adams, Scoot McNairy, Arlie Snowden, Jessica Harper, Zoe Chow, Emmett Snowden as well, who's the twin who plays obviously the children, Ella Thomas, Stacey Swift, Garrett C. Phillips, Adrian Rose White, Kerry O'Malley, Rosalind Gentle, and Michael Andrew Baker. So it says here that a woman thrown into a stay-at-home routine of raising a toddler in the suburbs slowly embraces the feral power deeply rooted in motherhood as she becomes increasingly aware of the bizarre and undeniable signs that she may be turning into a dog. Yeah. So let's go for the words. Burying a dead cat, dead animal cruelty, killing an animal for suspense, motherhood, stay-at-home mom, dark comedy, body horror. Character says, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Yep. Title directed by female. Home, mother, husband, wife, relationship, artist, marriage, separation, hypochondriac, giving birth, co-parenting, reference to Fig Newtons. Title spoken in dialogue, poop in hand, turned into a dog, piggyback ride, pregnancy, cyst, 2-year-old boy, slapped in the face. That's 2-year-old boy, then slapped in the face. Sex in a shower, it looked awful, to be fair. Giving birth at home, art gallery, home birth. Not saying that sex in the shower is bad, by the way. It's actually kind of fun, but it did not look good in that. That's all I can say. F rated, triple F rated. Dog, raising a child, painting, midwife, mother-son relationship, period. Menstruation, burping, based on novel, title spoken by character. They talk about all the things that you don't tend to hear about, like women's bodies and our just everything to do with what a woman goes through, which is no, again, most things are shamed. Being Catholic, everything was shamed. Being female, having a period, shame. Being a woman, shame. Having a fucking different opinion, shame. There we go. The whole society, shame. Yes, I'm going all shame about it, all Game of Thrones about it. But it is a meme that I use plenty, a gift that I use plenty that shows exactly how I'm feeling, or I give you the Donald Sutherland finger because it's literally point and horror. We've done the kind of keywords. and plot and taglines. And now we're going to go for the parental guide because this should be sex and nudity, mild, violence and gore, mild, profanity, moderate, alcohol and drugs, mild, frightening, intense scene, mild. Okay. Says for sex and nudity, 2 sex scenes are depicted, yet not memorable and not very good. A female is shown with 8 nipples. Yes, I was pissing myself at that bit where she's turning into a dog and she sees 8 nipples. And it's not like regular human nipples, it is dog nipples. And it's dog nipples from like a pregnant dog as well, which is weird. Why do I know that? I have dogs, and you know that. The very top of a female butt is shown in 2 separate scenes. Oh my god, we see ass cleft. Holy shit, call the cops. Gently clad female shown in only her bra. Holy shit, really? Oh my god, we wear a bra. Holy fuck. Side female breast nudity is shown of a naked female taking a shower. Side boob, people. Side boob. Spoilers, a woman is showing giving birth, no nudity is shown, but fucking horrific graphic detail is. They say it's beautiful. Really? Fuck me, no. Profanity, F-bombs are often used. I've got to put my hands up and say F word is used as a parent, but I use the C word more. But I doubt they could get away with that. Alcohol use. Oh my god, she has like a Manhattan or an old fashioned, not an old fashioned soapy thing that I'm talking about, but she has a few nice drinks actually. Frightening intense scenes. Mild and it has nothing else. Apparently it was a 15 in Ireland, 12 in the Netherlands, seems to be a 15 everywhere. United States was a rated R, and United Kingdom was an 15 as well. I don't see why it would be an 18 because there's nothing, but it definitely is not a 12. Trivia. Amy Adams' name is simply Mother in the film. A label Adams describes the single way her character sees herself and feels in society at that particular time. Goofs, when the dude fills the coffee pot under the sink, it's got the same amount of water in it from before he filled it. Quotes, Mother, do you feel like the big secret is that we are gods? We fucking create life. We make life. We are so powerful. I bet men are terrified of us. I mean, look at you. You are this miraculous goddess growing bones as we speak. And again, Mother is God in the mouth of babes. And that is incredibly true. I love Amy Adams. She's such a talented actress. It's so weird to see her let herself go just for this role, though. It's really nice that she actually wanted to play authentic of a woman who really, really, really is living what most parents or mothers go through that are just too afraid to say. I guess 5.6 out of 10 out of 19k people. So let's see what reviews we have. User reviews. We are going to go for the 10 reviews because they are always AI. Adams delivers a career-defining performance in NightBitch. I do agree. The movie is overall good, but I expect it to be it'd be darker and more horrifying rather than comedic. Yes, I did expect that, but it's dark humor and things that people expect you not to say, but I tend to. So the targeted audience should be parents, although I am not a parent right now. I can totally resonate with the themes presented. If you have any questions about motherhood and feminine rage, you might find this film insightful. Yeah. The screenplay is also well written. Some dialogues from the characters are very sharp. Marielle Heller is definitely a talented female director who can adapt a seemingly impossible book into a successful movie. Adam is undeniably amazing. This is the best performance I have seen her so far, and it might be the best performance I have seen this year. It's a career-defining performance. She is feral, brave, and funny. She truly commits to the role. The depth of her performance is evident in the intricate details of her facial expressions, which beautifully convey her anger, joy, and pain. Adams embodies the role of a mother with an authenticity that resonates deeply, likely stemming from her own experiences as a mother in real life. This personal connection elevates her performance, making it feel both relatable and genuine. I can't help but feel a strong connection between her portrayal and my own mother, as if she captures the essence of maternal love and sacrifice in a way that truly speaks to me. This movie seems to be divisive so far. I have seen some people dismiss her performance and many believe Adams shouldn't win or even be nominated for this bizarre role. No, definitely not. For me, acting awards are always performance based, not movie based. She is the vehicle of the film. She definitely should be nominated or even win. The passion shouldn't vanish. I hope more people can recognise and see my points. Other than that, Scooty McNairy is also fantastic. He's not really in it that much. And he comes across as a complete dick and so completely unaware of what his wife goes through or his partner that he's been with for years before they had a child and got married. It's like everything goes out the fucking window. It's like not all men are like that or not all partners are like that, but they're portraying it as like the worst kind of, not husband, but the kind of husband that may or may not actually realize how far he is delusional from the actual what's going on around him kind of thing. Star Pro, great acting, better than expected. I thought this movie was going to be terrible, so I was pleasantly surprised that it was. Excellent. Amy Adams did an amazing acting performance. I got tears in my eyes at one point and wasn't expecting that. All actors were great. The guy, I don't know who he was, who's Scoot McNairy, was good. And the little boy astounded me at the great little actor he was. Again, even though there was two of them, they were twins. Like, how did he do that? Even all the secondary characters were good. I don't know why it's rated so low. I read a couple of lousy reviews and they didn't give specifics, just vague. I loved this movie. The writing and the acting was top notch, and I liked Amy Adams in our past movies, but this one really showcased her talent. A beautiful gut punch. Bailey. Firstly, I'd be interested to know how many of the low scoring reviewers are men who clearly have no idea how to put themselves in anyone else's shoes. Some women too. Don't all pin it on men. This film was not at all what I was expecting from the trailer, so perhaps the rawness of her struggle hit me harder than I was prepared for. Amy Adams is spectacular in this role. The realness of her depiction of motherhood really nearly had me in tears in many places, because whether men want to acknowledge it or not, many of us feel exactly the same as she does. And as she's described at some point in our lives, yeah, we struggle, and yeah, it's okay for us to moan about it. Okay, some parts fell in, well, a trodden path. And the fact that they had to separate in order for her to rediscover herself, only for them to get back together, felt unpredictable and as described to the happy ending trope. This movie has gone under the radar somewhat, and I really recommend a watch if you can possibly stand to have your ideals changed and have to listen to women going on about self-absorbed pity party. So for me, again, this review itself as well, I was kind of moved by the portrayal of mother, because I felt this way and I've probably felt worse, and it upset me because everything I tried to do, people were telling me, oh, you shouldn't do it that way, rather than saying, oh, you're trying that. Like, I co-slept, like Amy Adams' character does. My son sleepwalks and so do I, so we kind of keep all these sleepwalkers and sleeptalkers together. I breastfed my son, I co-slept, I did everything. I wanted to be the mum that was there for my kids absolutely every single little moment in his life, every single achievement, everything, all the bad times, all the good times, all the best times, all the great times, all the amazing times, all the excellent times, all the shitty times, everything. I just wanted to know myself that I had done everything I could, and that my son would remember that I was there. Not only was I his mum and his best friend, but I was his protector, I was his nurturer, and I was there for everything. And that's what I tried to be. And that's what this movie portrays, the mother who just wants to be the best mother she could be in every time in their life. Absolutely everything. And that is what I feel. So we'll go for the 1-star reviews next, because again, they're usually closer. Awful overall. This movie has some accuracy as to how mothers can feel raising a child, no doubt about it. There are relevancies and ways this film can relate to many people's lives. The film is dictated by a mother's thoughts and inner state through a dark and negative lens. She is clearly unsupported and in need of emotional and mental support, helped by family, friends, and a therapist. Most likely, I believe there was really unnecessary elements to this movie, specifically the killing of her family cat. It is really disturbing and upsetting, so why include it? And in not seeing the point to this horrific scene, it was extremely offensive and I shut the movie off immediately after the scene. I don't recommend watching this if you're an animal lover, because that is not what you are going to get. Waste of time and money producing this and watching too. Yikes. I think the death of the cat was, again, is she turning into a dog, or was this a symbol of something else? Did the cat actually die though? That's the thing. Because there's a lot of things you see in the movie that doesn't happen. Turning into a dog, becoming furry, escaping the city, going in as a woman and coming back as a dog. That doesn't happen, people. It doesn't. And showing a dead cat was not nice, but did it actually happen? Yes, it shows you her burying the cat. Circle of life. But is it, or is it a symbol for something else? That is the thing. NightBitch is a howling disaster from the opening scene, which promises an intriguing premise but delivers nothing. It's clear this movie is a snooze fest wrapped in a pretentious bow. The plot about a woman embracing her inner canine starts with a potentially interesting concept, but quickly devolves into a confusing mess of metaphors and missed opportunities. The cinematography aims for artistic but ends up murky and disorientated, making it hard to even see what's happening half the time. Okay, I did not see that. The lead actress tries her best to navigate this labyrinth of a script, but the dialogue is cringeworthy. Falls flat, leaving you wishing for a quick end to the film. The special effects meant to transform the human into something more basically are laughable, bad, reminiscent of a low-budget school play, and don't get me started on the pacing. It drags on like a never-ending hill. The film tries to tackle themes of identity and motherhood, but subtly of a sledgehammer. NightBitch, unless you really enjoy being bored to tears by a film that thinks it's much cleverer than it actually is, 1 star, and that's being generous. So when they're talking about the film tries to tackle films of identity and motherhood, the Tor Eric Sire, or Sire, Tor Eric Sire. If you've not came across anyone who has been like this, or you've not witnessed this, or saw someone you care about go through it, of course you're not going to fucking understand it. The movie did kind of have long parts of it that could have been shortened. For me, I feel as a mum, as a parent who has struggled with their mental health all their life, and as a parent, and as a new mum, and as a first time mum, that we needed to see it. People need to fucking see it. People need to see this shit because no one fucking understands what it's like to have a brain like this when you're going through this and when you're having to deal with this, when you're unsure and you don't know. So fuck off. What is my review? It got 5.2, so I'm going to read someone's review that's a 5. NightBitch is entertaining enough. The movie has some good funny scenes and the general premise is interesting enough. Amy Adams is very good here and the whole cast is solid. The overall story here is pretty good, but I think that the main character arc we're focusing on is a bit off. I don't think this movie really understood what it wanted its own message to be, which made it harder for some of the more dramatic scenes, especially the ending, to hit home. The movie also kind of made me question what the director's relationship with her family is like, because the whole movie had this messaging focus on how a mother makes sacrifices she doesn't always want to make because she loves her kids. But by the end of this movie, it sees Amy Adams' character just hates being a mother. No, she doesn't, and then she's having another kid. I was just a little confused. The good acting enjoyable enough. The experience can't save the money. Can't save the movie from its messy script. Again, she does know. And she wants to. Fuck's sake, this person has watched this movie from a weird perspective, and I usually tend to do that. But the director and writer has adapted a book based on someone else's view of motherhood, not just hers. And she has rewritten it for the screen so that she can show and possibly amplify how that original writer feels, how she may feel, and how other people may feel. Amy, as well, when she is on projects like this, creative arty-farty ones like this, she has a lot of her own input as well. And the fact that she wanted the character to be believable, that she properly thought, I am going to maybe put how I felt as being a first time mum, or how I've heard other people talk about being first time mums. She's tried to encapsulate everybody maybe she has came across as a mother, including herself, and taking the story and taking what the director was wanting to show so you can see it at its worst, at its most passionate, at its happiest, at its saddest, at its most rage, anger, joy, everything. We can all feel those emotions all at the same time, but they can all feel the fucking same. That's the thing. That's the fucking thing. So let's see what I thought of the movie and what I gave it. This movie has some reflections of how things once were through the eyes of another generation, her own mother, the way she was brought up, and how her mother gave up on her dreams for her to have a family. How it has made her unhappy and how she has regrets and how she didn't want to become her mother, and this is how she made changes to prevent this. It was a light going on in how she can turn out and turn things around if she didn't change. Amy Adams did bring things to light on what being a mother is and how to be a good mother. How to be a good mother. And how to be good to yourself and true to yourself. My take and my own is do what suits you. Sometimes the outside backseat voices want you to feel. Just stop and think what is best for you and your family. Don't let others make you less worthy or not worthy. Let others find out that faking it is only hurting those around them and themselves. That asking for help and offering support is kind and can help let motherhood grow naturally and enjoy the new chapters and grow together, be a team and learn to help yourself by living your life the way you want. Things don't have to change, but if they do, we can make changes along the way. We can make a new chapter and start over. We can learn that no one gets it right. We just learn to enjoy the times that made us the people we are today. I give this movie 2.5 out of 5 based on because I don't do it out of 10. It would be probably closer to the review that it actually has. I would probably say about a 6. Between a 5.5 and a 6, I think, if it was out of 10. It has a good movie, good story, good actors, but I don't like it being classified as a horror. Dark comedy, yes. Thriller, or even a psychological horror, or psychological because of a lot of mental health aspects. It's a movie about growing and changing and evolving, and how you might not get it right the first time, but does that matter? No. We're only human, we make mistakes and we learn from it and we grow and we get on and we try and get out of it, or we try and build in it, or we try and make it better from what we have. Because there's things we might not want to change over time. They will, they're just not ready to give up on it yet, or for us to let go of that part of ourselves, and that's okay as well. That is okay. I don't understand why so many are hateful about this. Postnatal depression, motherhood, being a parent, even fathers having to take on the role or a different role in themselves. They don't even show you that. They only show the woman's side of it or the mother's side of it, because it's based on her changes and her changing her life to be adaptable for her family, for adaptable for herself, and for her to be able to be herself in a world where she's had to change to be who she is now. But the father had to change too. Some fathers don't, and it seems that her husband has stayed in a state where dad goes to work and mum stays at home. He's old fashioned. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. But whoever is like makes the more money, or what is probably the one who would go to work and the person stays at home. Role reversal type thing. We live in the 21st century where it's not about mum staying at home with children. Sometimes dads do too, sometimes grands do, so both parents can go out to work, but that's your choice to do these things. It's your choice, and it's always up to you. Don't let other people tell you that you're doing things wrong, or you should be doing it their way. Keep the outside voices outside, because the main voice in our head does enough damage. It really fucking does. That self-saboteur lives in there rent free, and we don't need outside voices feeding it. So let's shut it the fuck up and do things our way, for our family, for our needs, so we can grow and evolve. And I feel that Amy did this. Like I said, that was the review of NightBitch. This is Confessions from the Dark Side. I am Lady Darcy Darkness. If you enjoy content like this, remember you can go check out Confessions from the Dark Side on social media platforms or Twatter, Instagram, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Threads, and Buzzsprout. And that was Confessions from the Dark Side presents Reviews from the Dark Side, NightBitch. If you like content like this, remember to go check out Confessions of the Dark Side's social media platforms are Twitter, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Buzzsprout. Let us know what you think over on our social media platforms, and let's get chatting about this topic, all the topics. Let's grow our community and let's spread how awesome the horror community actually is. If you need to reach out to us at any point, you can email us at confessionsfromthedarkside@gmail.com, all one word, no spaces. And as I said, I am Lady Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Dark Side. It was wonderful speaking to you today, and I can't wait to catch up with you all next time, next review, next topic. Have a great one. I'll see you in the next one. Later.